Hello everyone and welcome back to another Batman miniature game 3rd edition battle report. Same table layout as last time, and we are going to get another showing of the Kobra Yuga Cult, this time against a Batman crew, just to see how they do. Again, the Kobra Cult have to use a neutral deck, no specific cards at all, but we are going to see some different rules here this time because they're bringing a free agent who has to be contracted, which is one of the cult rules. We'll go into detail about that once we take a look at the teams. So here is our Batman crew for the day, and it's kind of themed around Gotham Knights, which is the next Batman video game that's releasing in 2021 at some point. There's 4 playable characters in that: Dick Grayson, Barbara Gordon, Jason Todd, and, well, not Damian, it's meant to be Tim Drake, but there's no Tim Drake as Robin miniature other than the Arkham Games one. Although Night Models did just reveal they're doing a Red Robin Tim Drake at some point, and it's his classic costume, kind of circa Black Mirror era. But anyway, the crew is being led by Dick Grayson, Nightwing, because he is the heir to the cowl rule, so if you don't have Batman, he changes his sidekick stance to leader. Then we have Barbara Gordon, we have Red Hood, Damian Wayne, and then, just to make up the points, we have JCPD Detective, and of course the mighty Officer Merkel, who will hopefully have a better showing than he did last time. And here is Jeffrey's Kobra Cult. Yes, the man himself, the destroyer of worlds, Jeffrey the Mighty. So Jeffrey is leading the team again. He's backed up by Lady Eve as a sidekick. We have the Nagus, we have the Cobra Hybrid, we have a new henchman. This is one of the less generic ones. This is, what is she called? She is called the Lancehead Captain, and she's got a custom SMG equipped with her, so a slightly better gun. And the contracted free agent is Deadshot. So when you bring a free agent onto a cult team, you have to give them a contract type. They can either be an assassin, a research, or... oh, I don't remember the last one, but depending on the contract you pick, it gives them a series of rules to apply by. Like, for instance, the research one means they can only do stun damage, but they can place suspect markers away from themselves for free, and they have different discounts. So he is taking the assassin contract, because it's Deadshot, so why wouldn't you, which gives him a 30 rep reduction in cost. So that's, I think he's 77 normally, or 71, sorry. So he gets a 30 rep discount, making him dirt cheap. But if you take the assassination contract, he has been hired by the Kobra Cult to specifically kill one enemy on the enemy team. You have to select the enemy, he can only attack that enemy, he gets some bonuses for doing so, and if he achieves his goal, he's out of here. He's achieved his goal, he's like, I'm done, I'm gone, bye. So if he does manage to achieve his goal, and his goal is going to be to kill Red Hood. If he manages to do that, he disappears at the same time, he just leaves, and he's only ever allowed to score objective cards on his turn, which are in relation to killing his target. So in other words, he couldn't do one for like most suspect markers or something on his side, or on his turn. It has to be in relation to killing his target. So he will be going after Red Hood. The thinking behind that is Red Hood's very aggressive, he'll be coming straight for them, and he's less sneaky than the others could be. So there we are. We're still just going to use the same 8-inch deployment on either side of the table. We're going to get the team set up and be back at deployment. So both crews are set up. The Kobra Cult are on your right, and the Batman crew, despite not having Batman in it, are on your left, although they're a little bit hidden behind the building over there. But we can take a little look at who has Audacity and where everyone is. So the Cobra Hybrid and the Nagus are down here. Everyone else is deployed in a clump. The contract that Deadshot, wrong one. Deadshot is called Killer Contract, and the contract I was forgetting is Bodyguard Contract, where he has to stay within a certain distance of the leader and can only defend the leader. I think it's like a 10 rep reduction on that one. Basically, the more freedom the free agent has, the less of a point reduction you get. The Killer Contract is very specific, which is why it's such a big reduction in rep cost. Anyway, the Detective and Merkel are hidden behind the car, deploying in cover, and the Bat family are kind of over here where the Batmobile was. So there is no cards being played in the lead up to Battle Round 1, so we're just going to jump straight in with the Kobra Cult taking first activation. So the Lancehead Captain got things started without Audacity, but within 8 of Jeffrey, so she had a free manipulate. She did a move action, moving up behind this car for cover, and she has placed a suspect marker. No objective cards scored on that, just getting an early start and trying to keep majority. The Batman crew's first activation was Barbara Gordon, and she had Audacity, so she used her back claw to give her 6 inches of additional movement and can go up vertically, etc., to grapple all the way up here onto this building to where you can see her. She of course has a bat cape, so she can just hover down if she wants, and she also has sneak attack as well, and that means she'll be able to get some what is the bonus for sneak attack in third? Oh, you can't use efforts on them, but she has to attack someone that couldn't see her, and given that the crew, the cult, does not have any grapples or anything and can't get up there to her, that's pretty much a given. The Nagus activated next with Audacity. He did a move action, although he kind of went diagonally just to avoid being illuminated by that lamp there, and also to make sure he's out of effective distance from the two cops, because they're both armed, although he's armed as well. But he then just did a manipulate to put down a suspect marker right on the edge of a table there, well out of the minimum distance for pistols, so they would have to fire at extreme range, which would not be worth it, especially shooting into the dark. Officer Merkel was next up. He didn't have Audacity, but he was within 8 of Nightwing to get inspired. He moved, that's well outside the 2 inches from deployment because they're up to the line essentially. He placed a suspect marker, and it is the first snitch of the game. It's not likely, unless someone's willing to put themselves in a lot of danger, that an enemy will get within 4 of that, but you could see. Actually, you know, Deadshot might be able to make it, but again, he can't really do anything, although presumably he still counters cards because they don't involve him doing anything directly. I'm not sure. Either way, if someone does decide to charge down the street to counter the snitch, they'll be putting themselves in a position for a world of hurt next turn. The Cobra Hybrid was next up. A move action was followed by a manipulate to put down another suspect marker, bringing the total for the Cobra Cult to 3. Did nothing else, is illuminated, but does also have some cover around him as well. The heir to the cowl himself, Nightwing, activated. He has 13 inches in total, 12 plus the 1 from Acrobat, so he doesn't even need to use the backclaw to travel pretty far. He dashed across here to where you can see him using the car for cover there, and did also use a manipulate action to put down a suspect marker just to get them towards the same total. Might as well try and deny the Cobra some points for potentially having the most suspect markers. So yeah, he did nothing else. I totally forgot to mention, but this Nightwing has reflexes, which in 2nd edition was kind of like a meh rule. It was like reroll failed agility rolls. So if you were jumping off buildings, Nightwing, it was like, woo, you could reroll the agility roll. In 3rd edition, reflexes makes successful ranged attacks against him be rerolled, which is a million billion times better and really, really powerful, especially considering he can use dodge as well. So that's a role that definitely got a lot better in this edition. Lady Eve activated, and she could not get close enough to stop the snitch from scoring, but that didn't matter. First of all, also, she exerted 1 effort to buff her defense with her Cobra armor, so she's got her defense 4 now, 5, until she gets hit once. But she stood where she was there and did her expansive Cobra gas attack, which doesn't do any damage, but it did hit Merkel, and instead of doing any damage, it just does slow 1, which I guess takes off 2 inches, which is why the 3rd edition doesn't come with a 1 foot icon, at least not as far as I could see. But that did also score for the Cobra Cult. I'm feeling weird for doing an effect, slow as an effect, so they are on the scoreboard first for 2 points. Damian Wayne activated with Audacity, and he just moved his 11 inches because of Acrobat, giving him the extra inch, to hide behind the building in here, which is a bit awkward to film, and for lack of anything better to do with his other action, he did a manipulate to put down a suspect marker, meaning that technically counting the snitch, it's now 3 for each side. Jeffrey, Destroyer of Worlds, activated with Audacity. He moved into the midst of his team here, heading down the centre. He exerted 1 effort to use his Cobra armor to buff his defense, so for the first time he's smacked in close combat, he's going to be defense 6, which is pretty dangerous. And in general, as said in the last battle report, he has a Batman-esque stat line, whereas Nightwing has a Sidekick-esque stat line, so it's not a fair fight if he takes him on alone. So the last activation for Batman's crew this turn was Red Hood, holding off until the last second to try and make Deadshot act first, but that didn't happen that way. This Red Hood, what's he called again? Oh, Red Hood Rebirth. He is exceptionally fast. He's as fast as Nightwing. He can move 13 thanks to having Acrobat. So he shot up the table. Rather than be a coward, it looks like he is going after his assassin himself to try and take him down. And that does mean we're over to Deadshot to end off the first battle round. And as you might expect, Deadshot just wants to get in a position where he can shoot Red Hood, and so that's what he did. He didn't have Audacity, he can't put down a suspect marker, even though he was, well, he's not a henchman anyway, so he couldn't get the buff from Jeffrey. So he is over here. He can sort of, I know that angle is annoying, but he does have line of sight, so he will get a shot off if the Kobra Cult also get first activation in Battle Round 2. But now that we're entering the end stage of Battle Round 1, we also know that Snitch has scored for the Batman crew, putting them on the scoreboard as well. We'll see if there's any Phase 4 cards to score too. So at the end of the first battle round, there is no additional objective cards being played in Phase 4, so we've already seen the ones that are scoring. Lady Eve and Jeffrey will be healing the one stun they gave each other to buff their armor, and in Battle Round 2, it will be the Batman crew going first, and that could be massively important. However, we will be back at the start of the turn proper to see if there's any Phase 1 or Phase 2 cards to be played, and also where Audacity ends up. So at the top of turn 2, here's how things are standing. Neither side is playing any objective cards to begin with, but we can see where Audacity is. If we just do a quick scan, so Vanagas has it, the Cobra Hybrid, Jeffrey does, Lady Eve, and then I believe it's exactly the same as it was for the Batman crew, so all the Bat family have Audacity, and poor JCP Detective and Officer Merkel are left wanting. So with that, it is the Batman crew getting first activation, and I think we all know what it's going to be. So it is an awkward angle to film, but luckily it's not going to matter for long. So Red Hood charged in, his 13 inches was enough to get into point blank range with Deadshot. They both went full effort, so they both exerted 3 effort each to subtract and add on to the basic attack. Red Hood used his katana for double blood, and he doesn't care whether or not Batman's here or otherwise, although obviously he's not. And he did just a casual 10 blood damage because all his attacks got through, and Deadshot's defense rolls were whiffs. He only has 3 defense as well. Not only that, but had he survived, which he most certainly did not, he is gone. But this Red Hood has brutal, so he does a crit on a 5, or a natural 5 or a 6 on the strength die, so Deadshot would have been knocked over as well. As it stands, though, he just went and murdered him, such is Red Hood's way, and very fittingly that means that he also scored They Must Know Pain, because he did at least 6 damage in a single melee attack. He did 10, which is, I think I've never seen more than 10. Oh, maybe with Bane. Well, that would be stun damage, but still. Yeah, that's definitely up there with the most blood damage I've seen in a single attack. But how will the Kobra Cult react now that their assassin is dead before he did anything? So Lady Eve was first up for the Kobra Cult with Audacity. She dashed around the corner, and in almost a repeat of last time, she attacked Damian Wayne with her double blood sword. However, only 2 hits got through, and that means that 2 times 2, so 4 blood damage, leaving him on 1. Although, sorry, I also just realised the crit roll was the strength dice roll was a 6, so Damien is also knocked down, but he's an acrobat, so he gets to stand up for no hindrance to his movement when he does stand up. But I'll go get the icon if he's not going next. But yes, he's alive on 1 HP. So we did end up just staying here with Damien activating. He flipped to his feet with acrobat, so no impaired movement. He attacked Lady Eve with his katanas. An interesting little side note, even on Damien's 3rd edition card that Night Models released, the mentoring roll, which is the one that doesn't let him do blood damage if he's in a, well, this is where the thing is, it says in a Brave and the Bold crew, still on his 3rd edition card, when Brave and the Bold is not a crew that exists anymore. They got renamed to Batman for 3rd edition, even though Brave and the Bold would have still been better. So technically, you could argue that since he's not in a Brave and the Bold crew, he's in a Batman crew, he could still do blood damage. That's obviously not the intention, so that's not how we're playing it, but it is just a funny thing that even on the 3rd edition card they didn't remember to update the rule. So either way, he attacked with his katanas. Lady Eve had buffed her defense, so she was defense 5, so only the strength die got through, which did 2 blood, but again, because of the mentoring rule, becomes 2 stun. Damien then did a special action to activate his back claw and fled up onto the building and relative safety. The Cobra Hybrid, activated with Audacity, did a move action to get right into point blank with Officer Merkel and did his bite. And not only did he do his bite, he got a crit on the strength die. It's very rare for that to happen in these games on the channel for whatever reason, and we've had it happen 3 times in this one. It's weird how RNG works out. So he got 2 hits through to Merkel, including the strength die, which was a 6. So 1 blood, 1 stun from each, so 2 blood, 2 stun on Merkel in total. It just does poison by default, so he's poison 1, and because he got the crit, Poor Merkel is also paralysed. Officer Merkel can't catch a break. Last time he was on the table, he got shot to death by Flashpoint Batman, or beaten to death by Bane, I forget which. And now he's getting attacked by a giant snake mutant and getting poisoned and paralysed. Paralysed is -2 to defense stat, so that puts him at defense 1. And it also means that the first turn in which it happens, he doesn't get a turn. He gets no activations, he can't take actions. So he'll be doing nothing. Nightwing activated and he decided to come to Officer Merkel's dramatic rescue, and as you can see there's a lot of icons on the floor here, so let's talk through what happened. He did a move action to get into base to base with the Cobra Hybrid, then he spent his special action to do Electric Storm, which is you center the blast template on him. Everyone except him, you roll the strength die, 3+. If you get it, it stuns him for 2. So unfortunately, Merkel did also get stunned for 2. That puts him at 4 out of the 5 required to knock him out. But the Cobra Hybrid also took the 2 stun as well, and he's pretty well. He's more sturdy with blood. He is, I think he's 9 endurance but 8 willpower. Hang on, let's double check that. He's knocked out either way, but still. Oh no, he's only 6 willpower. Sorry, but he's much sturdier when it comes to blood damage. So then, Nightwing exerted 1 effort for his attack with his combo electric batons, and he did 10 stun plus the 2 there, more than enough. The Cobra Hybrid is knocked out. The Lancehead Captain without Audacity activated, although she was within the inspired distance of Jeffrey. So she did a move action, barely getting into base to base because she's pretty slow with the suspect marker that had been there, and she used the free manipulate she got to remove it, which in turn is scoring Disturbance for the Kobra Cult. Reveal an enemy suspect marker. After revealing it, you must have more. They have plenty. 1, 2, 3 versus 2 at this point, or 1, the one in the alley because the snitch went away. So Barbara Gordon was next up with Audacity. She made use of her back cape to glide down, did a movement action to go right after the Lancehead Captain, taking advantage of sneak attack, meaning that she, as in the Lancehead, couldn't effort to defend herself. Barbara used 2 effort to up her attack dice, but the rolls weren't that great and the defense rolls were amazing. Only 3 of them, but still. So all said and done, because Barbara doesn't have reinforced gloves, she only does 1 stun per hit that gets through. She does have combo on unarmed, so I accidentally just knock over part of the scenery. But yeah, so 4 hits got through, but that's only 4 stun. The Lancehead is 6 willpower, I think, so 2 left to stop it from falling unconscious. The Nagus activated with Audacity. He strutted down the street at a diagonal line to make sure he was within 8 of the JCPD detective. He did move obviously, so he lost the strength die and 1 other die for moving, but he shot his automatic guns at the JCPD detective. 1 hit got through and did 1 blood, 1 stun. So now it is over to the JCPD detective to end the turn for Batman, and then back over to Jeffrey to end the turn for Cobra. So the JCPD detective didn't have Audacity, so all he did was return the favour to the Nagus and unloaded with his automatic pistol, and given that the Nagus is in the open and he didn't have to move, he did a lot better. 3 hits got through for 3 blood and 3 stun. With that, over to Jeffrey. So Jeffrey charged in after Barbara Gordon and attacked with his hidden sword. Now, he has a Batman stat line, 5 attacks plus the strength die. She doesn't have bat armor, and she is defense 5, however. She's very defensive focused, and her defense roll was great. Unfortunately, his attack roll was equally great. So 3 hits with a hidden sword got through, all said and done, for 6 blood, which is exactly enough to sadly take Barbara out of the match. And also for the Cobra Cult, score a dirty job for taking an enemy out for 1 victory point. So that does take us to the cleanup to see if any phase 4 objective cards get played. So at the end of battle round 2, the Cobra Hybrid has woken up, so he's got 1 willpower back and is knocked down instead. Everybody who had stun damage, which is quite a lot of people because everyone went hard on efforts there and kind of lost focus of the objectives, I feel, but either way everyone healed 1 stun. And in terms of objective cards being played, Cobra Cult in phase 4 is playing Stick to the Plan for having more suspect markers in play than your opponent, which they do in spades at this point. 1, 2, where are we going? There, 3, and versus 1 at this point. So yes, that is scoring. You can see who has Audacity. It's basically everyone except Damien and, well, the Cobra Hybrid and the Lancehead Captain. I think they're the only ones who don't. And it will be the Cobra Cult getting first activation. Totally forgot to cover as we do start the penultimate round here, there is no objective cards being played in Phase 1 or Phase 2, and as already stated, the Kobra Cult is taking first activation this turn. So perhaps an interesting first choice for first activation in Battle Round 3 for the Kobra Cult, the Nagas activated with Audacity, and rather than trying to take on the GCPD detective, fled into the deployment zone of the Batman crew, put down a suspect marker, and went for the victory points, which is the smart thing to do. Stake your claim, put a suspect marker in the enemy deployment zone. It only scores 1, but it's been done. So we're sticking with the weird activation order because first for the Batman crew was Officer Merkel. He used the back end of his shotgun to beat the Cobra hybrid back into unconsciousness, only needed to do 1. Got 4 hits through thanks to the negative for him being on the ground, and then also used a special action to arrest him. I'm not sure quite how you arrest a giant snake monster, but he achieved it, and as a result scored Get Them Off the Streets for arresting a model. 3 victory points scored. And then he did a movement action, so he did all 3 actions, and retreated all the way back there. Well, would have been 10 inches down to 8 because of the penalty from the slow. Jeffrey, destroyer of those little packets of ketchup you get at the restaurant that are too small for your chips, activated next, and he went with Audacity after Nightwing to try and smush the leader. Both of them exerted 2 effort in the melee that ensued, and Nightwing did okay. It was with the hidden sword that Jeffrey attacked as well, so all said and done the strength I got through and 1 other attack. So Nightwing has taken 4 blood damage, and each of them have taken 2 stun willingly. Nightwing activated, and he shuffled around the side of Cobra, used his special action to do Electric Storm again, which did 2 stun to both Jeffrey and also the Lancehead Captain. She is now 1 stun away from unconsciousness. Sadly it wasn't quite enough to take her out. He attacked, he had his defense buff that he did a few turns back, so he's defense 6. He only got 1 6 on the attack roll, and the strength die was not it, so Jeffrey easily defended it, and so took no more damage. And with that, it's over to either the Lancehead Captain or Lady Eve. The Lancehead Captain activated without Audacity, so she stood still, shot her rifle, not at Nightwing, opted to shoot at Merkel instead because with the paralyze he's defense 1 and his easy pickings. She did 6 damage to him, which in turn has killed him, and he has caught a bullet. Inflict at least 6 damage of any type with a single range attack. 1 damage. Merkel, you lived a little longer, but you still are the most unlucky cop I've ever seen. The GCPD detective activated next with Audacity. He swung round the car with a movement action into point blank, which he's allowed to do because he then also shot his pistol, but his pistol is light so he can fire it in point blank range. He did so. He only needed to do 1 stun to knock out the Lancehead. He did one blood, 1 stun, and that's good because that means that non-lethal ammo has been scored for 2. Inflicts a ranged attack that does at least 1 blood but convert the blood to stun, so technically he did 2 stun. Then he did his special action to use arrest, so the Lancehead Captain is just straight up removed from the table. So now it is over to Lady Eve, and then back over to either Red Hood or Damien. Lady Eve activated as stated, and confident that Jeffrey is fine by himself, she moved ever so slightly into point blank with the suspect marker that had been there, removed it in order to score a disturbance for removing an enemy suspect and having more in total afterwards, and then also used her Cobra armor to use 1 effort to buff her defense back up. So now Damien and Red Hood get to activate together. So we can actually just cover both those activations since all Damien is doing without Audacity is moving to the edge of the building. Red Hood put down a suspect marker with his Manipulate, and that has become a snitch, which is automatically scored because there's no Cobra left to activate. He then moved his full 13 inches to where you can see him right smack dab here, taking us into the cleanup phase. So at the end of the penultimate battle round, everybody who has stun damage has healed 1, and there is 1 phase 4 combo card, objective card being played. Another stick to the plan for the Kobra Cult, for again having more suspect markers in play than the Batman crew. So that has scored. There's nothing else to cover but to jump into the final round, and it will be the Kobra Cult going first again. So at the start of the final battle round, there's not many miniatures left on the table for either side. Cobra's got 3, the Batman crew has 4, but obviously a couple of people are heavily wounded. So everybody who is surviving thus far has Audacity. There is 1 card being played in Phase 1, and that is by the Kobra Cult. They are playing a Die Hard, and it is being selected on Lady Eve. So if she lives to the end of the game, That's 2 points in the bag. So with that, let's get to Kobra's first activation. So Jeffrey himself got the round started and he tried to take out Nightwing just to get rid of the leader there. Nightwing used 2 effort and Jeffrey used none because it felt like it was in the bag, but his rolls were not great, so only the strength die got through for 2 blood. Nightwing now has 6 blood on him. He is alive with 1 HP. So a last ditch effort from Nightwing. He chased down Jeffrey and attacked him. He did Electric Storm as a special again, and that did 2 stuns through to him, but he just couldn't crack the 5 defense with his combo, so he did no stun damage there. Jeffrey staying conscious. Nightwing was unable to complete the job. The Nagus was next up with Audacity. He hopped the wall there for some impaired movement, but he moved far enough away that he could put down another suspect marker in the deployment zone for the Batman crew, and as a result score another stake your claim for putting one in the deployment zone for another 1 point. The glare on that is outrageously, I mean, it doesn't even look that glary in real life. Oh well. Damien activated and he used his Batclaw for a special action to fire down to the suspect marker that was next to his lamp. He revealed it and as a result scored comb through everything, reveal an enemy suspect marker, and then once you've scored this card you can draw an additional one and then you have to discard one of them. Lady Eve activated with Audacity. Of course she does have a sort of price on her head thanks to her being the die-hard target, but that didn't stop her charging in and stabbing Nightwing in the back. She got 3 hits through for 6 blood, much more than was required to take him out, and that means Dirty Job has also scored for 1 victory point. I believe we have to elect a new Batman leader now as well, which is going to be Red Hood, who will probably be activating next. Oh, or the JCPD detective, we'll see. So the JCPD detective activated with Audacity, move actioned away from where all the action was occurring. He placed a suspect marker and as you can see it has become a snitch, which there's no Cobra left to activate, just means it flat out scores. And it is over to Red Hood to end the game. I'm not sure if there's anything he can do from where he is. Getting Deadshot off the table turn 1 was fantastic and all, but it kind of meant he wasn't where he was needed. So in a way, Deadshot did exactly what he needed to do, without even getting the kill. But we'll see if he can manage anything, and then be back. So as it turns out, there was something he could do. He did a movement action to just get a little bit closer to Lady Eve. Then for his special action, he did his once per game one-shot gun. Shot her in the back. It's a 2+ strength die. She wasn't in cover or anything, so it just went straight in. And he opted to convert the blood damage to stun, and that scored another non-lethal ammo. So we'll see if that makes any kind of difference. So that is going on the score pile, and as we are at the end of the game, it does mean because Lady Eve survived, Die Hard has scored for 2 as well. So we're ready to see who's won. The Cobra pile is definitely larger, but I think the Batman crew scored cards worth more, so it might be close. Let's see. So Batman scores 2, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, and 19. 19 points, all 3 snitches scored. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, yeah, there was more cards but they were worth less. 19 plays 17, despite heavy casualties, it is a Batman crew victory. Although we've lost Barbara, we've lost Dick, we've lost Officer Merkel, but I'm sure Red Hood will then go on and get revenge for both of them and kill Jeffrey and Eve, and all will be well, and Damien will watch and do nothing. So I hope you enjoyed that battle report. Thank you very much for watching this far if you did. Let me know if you want to see more in the future and we'll carry on producing this content. Thank you again. See you next time. Ta-ta for now.